But what does a really good parent look like? Well, I can certainly show you what a good parent does not look like. The last headline will try to illustrate exactly how progressives are answering this question. And this is according to Susie Weiss in Barry Weiss's Common Sense Substack article. And the article says, quote, Americans are making fewer babies than we've made since we started keeping track in the 1930s. And some women, like Diamond, who is somebody who was mentioned earlier, who just decided that she's never going to have children, are not just putting off pregnancy, but eliminating the possibility of it altogether. Last year, the number of deaths exceeded that of births in 25 states, up from 5 the year before. The marriage rate is also at an all-time low at 6.5 marriages per 1,000 people. Millennials are the first generation where a majority are unmarried. They are also more likely to live with their own parents, according to Pew, than previous generations were in their 20s and 30s. Well, thank God that we have a bunch of children still living with their parents in their late 20s and early 30s. They also aren't having sex. The number of young men aged 18 to 30 who admit they have had no sex in the past year have tripled from 2008 to 2018. Cities like New York, where young secular Americans flock to build their lives, are increasingly childless. In San Francisco, there are more dogs than children. So, obviously, the progressive idea is to just totally run away from this, if at all possible. Or how about this one? According to the Washington Post, men are getting vasectomies out of love. According to Newsweek and too many other news publications to mention, there are pro-choicers who think that men should be forced to have vasectomies if abortion laws like the one in Georgia go into effect. So here's the answer, right? If we're not going to be responsible parents, we'll just eschew responsibility wherever we can. Forget about the fact that maybe we shouldn't be having premarital sex. Forget about the fact that if we do have a child, maybe we should figure out how in the world we can then care for that child. No, what we're going to do is we're just going to try to make sure that we avoid responsibility at all costs so that this thing called adolescence, that is completely a fabrication of the American West, can continue well on into our 40s so that we can live with our mothers in our basement and play Call of Duty. So here's the moral of the story through it all. We don't need less guns. We don't need more progressivism. We don't even need more vasectomies. We don't need less babies. We need good parents. We need parents, yes, who have read books, and parents, yes, who have done the best that they can to try to raise their kids the way that they were raised. But we need something better than that. We actually need parents who have a strong system, a foundation underneath them of truth, a foundation of transcendent values that will truly help them raise their kids in a responsible way. I've talked about this very, very often, how moving away from Christianity has caused some of the pains that we're experiencing right now, but perhaps one of these is also seen within the dynamic of parenting and needing good parents to raise good kids. Now, I'm not going to lay that fully at the feet of Christianity just yet, but I'm just going to tell you that I do know of somebody who is a really, really, really good person to help you raise your kids the right way, to help instill virtue, to help instill truth, to help instill morality into your kids. I'm going to tell you about this person because I think you need to know this person. Now, it's also important to know this person because sometimes we don't know if we're good parents. We don't know if we're actually raising our kids the right way until, quite frankly, they're old enough to the point where perhaps it's too late at that point to even do anything about it. You know, the idea of parenting is such a subjective sliding scale that it's hard to really know if you're being a good parent. So how do we know we're being a good parent? How can we truly parent our kids in the right way? So again, I want to introduce you to this person, and you probably already know who I'm going to say. It's Mary Poppins. I bet you thought I was going to say God, right? No, Mary Poppins. You can catch brand new episodes of Indie Thinker with Reed Huberman every Monday and weekly bonus episodes to keep you thinking throughout the week. But you have to subscribe and click the bell to be notified when new episodes drop. If you enjoy this content, make sure to like this video and share it with friends.